Ideanomics stock price prediction. Okay guys, so I was reading the comment section and some of you guys requested an update video on Ideanomics stock. So here we are. So basically when I recommended the stock, it absolutely shot up. Right when I recommended it, actually it was up pretty big pre-market. And as we see here, we take a look here, I mentioned that there was a bunch of resistance right at around $3 or 29 cents or something like that. So what actually happened is that the stock actually broke out past resistance. So I'm going to show you guys that. It's a little bit easier to explain, show you guys the full chart on TradingView in a moment. But basically the stock was over around $4 or so, and it was just up so big on volume that it just, once the volume kind of went down, the stock went down as well. But there are some good things about the stock. Number one, this does look like another cup formation is forming, and I don't expect the stock to ever trade as cheap as it has, because obviously a lot of these EV stocks had pulled back. So stocks like NIO, Li Auto, Xiaoping, even Blink Charging. So guys, when stocks run up like that, they're not going to, the trend line is not going to remain like a straight line, because then it's literally going against gravity. So it makes sense that some people sold some of their position to take profits. So, but the good thing is that it looks like we've hit another level of support. So I want to show you guys that in trading. Okay, so here we are on TradingView, a little bit just better overall for technical analysis, because it just gives us more data in terms of the volume and everything. So as I was talking here, the volume was skyrocketed. So on that big gap up, the volume was 281 million shares, and then it had a red day, which was at 351 million. So now the volume is kind of going back down. But there are some good signs. There's been a new support level formed. So if I just head over to the 1 month chart to kind of explain this a little bit easier, as you can see here, this new support right around the current price level of around, I would say, in a trading range between 250 to 270. And it looks like here that there's a bit more accumulation. So guys, when you see a flat line that's basically going across like that, that means that buyers are coming into the stock. So when the line is kind of flat at the top, we usually call that distribution. So that means people are starting to sell off shares and, take some profits and things like that, because, it ran from $1 to over $4. At one point it was trading at over $4. So it ran up basically from $1 to $4 in like a couple of days. So, but the good thing is that now, let's say you bought at $4 thinking that it would continue to break out, and now you're basically sitting with a couple of losses. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of suggestions on what I would personally do in this situation. So it really depends on what your goals are. Are you swing trading or are you investing? Okay, so if you're swing trading this now, obviously you're looking to resell this much higher. So maybe let's say you bought it at like $4 or $3.50 and you're down a bit. So there's a couple of ways to do this. The first thing is that let's say you're swing trading and you're just trading stocks just to make profits and resell them back higher. Well, what I would do personally is hold. And the reason why I would say hold is because there's been some key support at around these levels. So, you don't want to sell at support levels. You want to buy at support levels, because once again, accumulation, people are coming into the stock. So what you would want to do is you want to buy here and sell here, right? So when you see the volume decreasing, that's usually a good time to take some of those profits. So as we saw here, the volume was way up, and then as you can see here on this chart, the volume starts to trickle down. It means fewer shares are being traded, and it really takes volume to shoot stocks up. So rarely will a stock soar unless there's heavy volume. And you'll notice this because you'll see the stock, if you go to a place like, I'll give you guys a great resource that I use a lot to really find some of these stocks. So what it's called Bar Chart. Bar Chart is the tool that I used. It tracks all volume across all US exchanges. Okay, so while I recommended FinViz in an earlier video, that's what I use to screen stocks. But if you're just looking for stocks that are on huge volume, you want to go to Bar Chart. You just go to barchart.com, and then you go here on the left hand side and you'll see volume leaders. So as you can see here, the volume is decreasing. So on that big day where the stock was up a ton, I believe the volume was over 250 million or so. So now the volume is decreasing a bit. So it's definitely trading around some support, but a lot of swing traders and things, they've moved on to some other stocks. As you can see here, you've got like MTC and Plantier, Neo's always on strong value, fuel energy. So some of that money has kind of drifted away from Ideanomics, but what I mentioned in the previous video about the stake that they acquired in that tractor company, that is real. So don't expect the stock to come down here like it was before. A lot of these stocks have sold off a bit. So what I would do is hold. Now, if you're a long-term investor, you want to buy now. And the reason you want to buy now is because we're just getting prepared for the next leg in these EV stocks. So a lot of people are like, oh, these stocks are up a ton. Should I sell or not? You guys, this is just the beginning. You're going to be amazed what's going on in 2021. I would say 2021 is when electric vehicles become mainstream. And that's simply because so many of these companies are going to be ramping up production. We've got Lordstown Motors. We've got Solo. We've got other companies. Ideanomics is increasing its capacity. So many companies have been a little bit devastated by this whole pandemic situation, and they're kind of waiting for this vaccine. And once the vaccine's released next year and things settle back to normal, you're really going to see a ramp up in production for these companies. So this would be a great buying opportunity if you're a long-term investor in Ideanomics. The good thing I like about this company is that it's cheap. It's only about $2.60, and the market cap, okay, yeah, and the market cap's just 660 million, guys. So basically you're dealing with a company that is, has a footprint with China. It's increasing its vehicles that it's selling through its group sales, and it has that 24% stake in Solartrack, that electric tractor company. So, the electric tractor company is really interesting. I think that obviously, I didn't even think about tractors at first, but definitely is a good market to be in because farmers need tractors and things like that, and they definitely need those vehicles replaced to go clean. So really interesting company here, and I would say be patient with this one. I mentioned the same thing on Aurora Cannabis. A lot of people wanted to sell the shares at $6, and I think that if you kind of in the mindset where like a stock is getting cheaper, and you're obviously if you're swing trading or trading options or something like that and you're buying call options, you want the stock to go up. But if you're buying the stock and you bought the position because you think this is a good company and the shares are cheaper, you should actually be happy because you're able to actually buy more shares at a lower price, improve your cost basis. And if this stock runs up again, like I said, there was plenty of resistance at $4, but let's say next quarter they ramp up production, and let's say there's more value out of that electric tractor company stake. Once this stock passes $4, it could well break out to $10. So I think this is just the beginning for EV stocks. Patience is really key. Guys, don't make some of the mistakes I did, like selling Neo a bit too early, and we know this is a trend. So what you want to do is you want to buy good stuff, you want to buy quality, you want to buy stocks that are going to be producing more vehicles, that are going to be benefiting from this EV revolution, and you want to hold on to them, And if you're thinking about, swing trading and trading in and out of stocks, a lot of times that, you're going to have to pay a lot of capital gains tax and stuff like that. So, it's hard to time the markets. Time in the markets is more important than time out of the markets. So that's kind of my analysis on where the stock is now. A future price prediction. Well, this is just a temporary sell-off. EV isn't going anywhere. So what I would say is I believe the next leg for Ideanomics stock is $5 plus. Simply just looking at the chart and just realizing that so many of these stocks had increased so much so fast, they were just bound to pull back a bit. So a couple of things that I would do with this stock even further. Monitor the news releases, guys, because this company is definitely a company that's going to trade on press releases. Monitor the news closely, and if you really are worried about losing too much money, there's nothing wrong with setting a stop loss below the support level. So if you set a stop loss of like $2.38, because if the stock does happen to break beneath that support, then it could trend much lower. But me, I don't use a lot of stop losses because in the past, I've gotten stopped out of positions, and then a couple of months later, the stock has, doubled or tripled, and this how this market has been this year. So that's what I would say. Put a stop loss below the support level. If you have a couple thousand shares or something like that, just be patient. This is a long-term play. All of these EV stocks are going to run up a lot more in the future. So that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video about Ideanomics, and let me know if you want me to cover any other stocks in the comments by leaving them below. And if you enjoyed this content, please smash the like button and please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out, guys. Really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and by subscribing you'll get more updates on videos I make about Ideanomics and other EV stocks. So that's it until next time, guys. Take care.